Hello Stampers and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I want to show you a really beautiful card that I made with this new stamp set bundle called Spotlight on Nature. They're having a hard time keeping it in stock at the store, the Stampin' Up! Store, because it's such a beautiful bundle. So I just love it. It's got flowers, leaves, butterfly, some hatch marks, and little speckles, and dear friend and thanks. And the dies are really fun. Really do love them. So let me get started. For this card I used Wild Wheat. I can't even remember what it was called. So this is an 8.5 by 5.5 piece of cardstock scored at 4 1/4, and I'm just going to fold it in half, take my bone folder and give it a nice sharp edge. And then I use the new Basic Beige. That's really pretty and looks really pretty with this cardstock. So I think I want to go ahead and just stamp the background first and my flowers and just get going. So let me grab my grid here. And when I do this type of image, I like to start with the largest stamp set. In that case, it's the leaves. I'll put this here. Well, I'm just going to move it. All right, so I've got Wild Wheat, and I'm taking these leaves, and I'm going to go ahead and ink them up. And it always looks better if you run it off the paper, which I'm doing there, and I'll do one more down here. That looks good. Then my next largest image would be the butterfly, which I used pecan pie for. Really cute little butterfly. I just really love how this card turned out. It's very fun. And I think we'll take him down this way. Just like to move him around a little. Put one over here, and I mean, you're not going to see that one there, but I'll just stick it there for now. And then next I'm going to do the hash mark, which I also used pecan pie for, which if I didn't say, that's what the butterfly was. This is a pretty quick background. Just make your own designer series paper, basically. And then last, I'm going to do the speckles in Tone on Tone, which is Basic Beige, which is this. And just gives it a little extra pizzazz. And I'm just filling in any blank spaces pretty much. So it's pretty busy, but I like how that looks. That's intentional. I'll go ahead and close this one for now. And then next, this is going to be covered up by my circle. And I want to grab a baby wipe so I can wipe that off, so I'm not making a giant mess on my next card. So there we go. Of course, now it's soaking wet, so I need to grab a paper towel. Dry it off. And next I want to do the flowers. So I have just a scrap of white cardstock, and really I should have done this before the video so I could fussy cut it. So sorry about that. This is really a big stamp set, so I inked it upside down. And there we go. And we just have to color it and fussy cut it. Now actually, before I clean stuff up, I stamped the inside, so let me just do that real fast. I have another piece of Basic Beige cardstock, which is 5 1/4 by 4, I believe. Yeah. Yep. 5 1/4 by 4. Good. And I wanted to put a little flower down here. I just got a smear on that. Well, there's nothing for it. Okay, we'll just do it there. Hopefully we'll cover that up with the flower. So there's that. And what else did I put in there? Oh, I did a butterfly and leaf. So let me do that real fast. Leaves were in wild wheat. And the butterfly was pecan pie. There we go. All right, so, we have one more thing to stamp, and that would be the sentiment, dear friend, which is somewhere. There it is. And I'm going to do that also in the pecan pie. There we go. And I think that's all I'm stamping. All right, so I'm going to close these stamp pads. Mostly so I don't like dip something in them or lean in them. Excuse me. Which is easy to do when you're not paying attention. All right, I'm going to move that out of the way. And I think my next step is going to be to cut these 2 circles out. And for that, I used 2 scraps. And rather than cut the whole circle out and then cut it there, I just went ahead and cut this to size. So this is 2 7/8 inches wide. And this one is 2 1/2, the pretty in pink and the pecan pie. So let me get my cutting machine in here and move some stuff out of the way. Now for this, see if I can do this without knocking things over. Zoom out a little. All right, so there are a lot of circles here. Look at that. Holy cow. I used this one and this one. I kind of liked having the different look to them. Just really think these circles are so much fun. And we can go ahead and just cut 2 at once. So I will do that. There's that one. And then I'll just go this way with this one. And, I also want to do my dear friend, which I'm not sure where I put that die. Where is that die? Oh, here it is. All right, the die for dear friend comes from the Unbounded Love dies, which I really, really like. Like, look at all these different shapes that you can do with the Unbounded Love. And in this case, we're going to do this one. So let's just throw that on too. It's definitely one of my new favorites. Really, all of this stuff is probably my most favorite things in the new catalog. And I pretty much use them on most of my cards these days. I really like them. All right, so let me pull that through. Of course, the most time-consuming thing on this card is just the fussy cutting of the flower, but it's totally worth it. Super pretty when you're done. So there's that and that. And my dear friend. Just want to put things back as I use them, because otherwise I have a really bad habit of losing them and then spending hours trying to find them. You ever do that? It can be super frustrating, especially when you're getting ready for Stamp Club late at night and you're like, cannot find that little die. You know you have it somewhere, so yeah. All right, I will use this. Take a pick tool, and I'm going to use the pokey side and just poke out the rest of those chads that didn't quite make it. But really, for an intricate die, you really want to use the new cutting and embossing machine. And in fact, there's a special on this month, the month of June, to get that machine off for 10% off. If you haven't made the plunge because you have an old Big Shot and you think you don't need this new machine, you're wrong, because this machine does such a better job with the fine, intricate dies, cuts them out so beautifully. All right, so there's that and that. And why don't we just go ahead and assemble this before I lose any little pieces. And I'm using my Tombow. This is something I got off of Amazon. It's a little holder. Really like it because it holds my glue ready to go. There we go. So that's the outside. The inside is somewhere. Where did I put it? Oh, there it is. So I've kind of been on a video break here since summer started. My daughter started a new job. She's working nights, and I watch her little girls. My granddaughters, I love watching them. But it's been a lot lately because she started, working nights, and it just takes more time. So good news is she's going to go back to days soon, and that's going to be great for everybody, especially those little girls who really miss their mommy. But what a privilege to watch your granddaughters. I can't recommend it enough. They're a lot of fun, keep me young, and I may as well just glue this on while we're at it. So really, if you're making a card like this, it really is better if you do like several at once. You can see a time economy when you do that. And I kind of liked it on the side and down a little rather than just a circle in the middle. I think it just gives it a more artistic appeal. So that is why I did that. I'm going to hold off on this for now and go ahead and start coloring. Now the colors that I used were light and dark bubble bath, and these are stamping blends, by the way. Light wild wheat, dark wild wheat, and light balmy blue. So let's start with the light wild wheat. Here we go. I'm going to use a brush tip because it's faster. And honestly, I almost always use a brush tip. I just get impatient using the fine tip. It takes me too long. And if you're careful, you can do a pretty good job of staying in the lines. Well, you can see I went out there, but honestly, when you're done, you can't even hardly tell. If it bothers you, you can use a color lifter, and I'll show you what that looks like here in a sec. It's a little harder to do these skinny ones, but if you just very lightly color with it, you can do it. Let me show. I said I would use a color lifter. Normally I wouldn't care, but I just want to show you what the color lifter does. I'm going to use the fine tip, the bullet tip, and just color over that. And if you wait a sec, look at that, it disappears. Really cool. And it'll dry. It's a little bit wet right now and be gone. All right, so now I'm going to take the dark wild wheat, and now I'm going to use the bullet tip. And do you see that really pretty fine lines that the concept artist put into this stamp? And so I'm just kind of going with that on my coloring. And oopsie. When I do my videos, I'm standing up. It's a little hard to color standing up, so it won't be perfect. But this is a homemade card. It's not supposed to be quite perfect. Once again, I could take my color lifter. I will. Why not? Fix that little boo-boo right there. All right, that looks good. Oh, let's fix it right there too. Okay, perfect. And then I took my, actually what I like to do is to take the dark color first and do the lines, which I will do. So this is the dark bubble bath. And then I'll go over it with the light bubble bath. And the reason I do it that way is because it kind of blends in the colors when you do it that way. So it's not so stark. And really, I could have done the leaves that way too, but it's not quite so obvious with the darker color like that. So I didn't really feel inclined to do that. So now I'm going to take the brush tip, zoom in a little more there, of the light bubble bath and color in the rest of those flowers. And that just kind of blends out any harsh lines when you do the dark first. Now, if you forget to do the dark first and you start with the light, you can always go over it again with the light when you're done. But this saves one little step, and you know, where everybody's busy. But I mean, the reason we craft really, I mean, the reason I craft is just super relaxing, and I really enjoy it. All right, so now you can take your paper snips and fussy cut out the image. And like I said, if I'd have been thinking, I would have done that before the video. I apologize that that didn't happen this time. But I was kind of anxious to get a video under my belt and kind of get going again with videos. I have so many projects piled up because I have a stamp club that meets once a month, and I usually do 4 projects for them. And it's a lot of fun, but then I do videos with those projects. And since I haven't done videos for a while and I was already backed up, you get the idea, I'm kind of backed up. And today, Stampin' Up! Had an event for demonstrators called Creativity Now, which was a lot of fun. And I made, I think, 5 projects for that. Really cute. I really enjoyed it, using a new stamp set that's going to be in the new mini catalog called Winterly Treetops, and I'll hope to get some videos out of those soon. It's always a challenge to know whether I should just use the cards I made at the event or if I should just show you those and make my own. So I need to think about it before I do that. But before I put any videos out for that, I thought I should try to at least get a few caught up. My other videos, and this is still a new stamp set, probably one of the most popular ones in the new catalog. I'm going to guess if the availability has anything to say with it. And what's not to like? It's such a pretty stamp set. Really like it. You can do all kinds of artistic cards with it, which personally I really enjoy. And some of them are really quick. This one takes a little more time, but it's mostly just because you're fussy cutting. And the dies that come with this are circular, but those circular dies are to die for. No pun intended. They're really great. I don't think Stampin' Up! Has many circle dies. I feel like they've been kind of scarce in recent years, so it's fun to get a new circle die set, and even better that it has all those fun patterns around the edge. So I really like that. All right, so probably won't fussy cut this as much as my last one, just in, you know, so it doesn't take me all day, but I think that's probably going to be good enough. I'll do a little bit more down here. And like that. And that looks good. All right, so there we go. And I'm going to use the glue again. You want to be careful, you know, you don't use a lot of glue when you use this Tombow, or it'll ooze out the edges. You notice I'm not getting super close to the edge because it does, once you push it down, it does spread out, and you don't want it to ooze out on your project. So that's why I'm doing that. There we go. There's that. flower. And you know what I just realized? Oh well, I have to color the butterflies as well on the card, so let me do that. And for that I used the light balmy blue, and I didn't like totally cover the whole butterfly. I just kind of did here around the butterfly torso, which has a name that's completely escaping me right now. Thorax, is it the thorax? I don't know. I did homeschool my kids, so I kind of used to know all that, but it's been a day or two since we studied insect anatomy, so I don't totally remember the name of it. But yeah, see, that is all I'm going to do, just around some of the little areas. You know, I think we have to do the inside too, so let me go back and do that. Kind of fun when you open this card, you get a little surprise. Get this cute interior. So there's that. And I want to do the flowers. So I want to do the dark first again. Put a little up there. And now come back with the light bubble bath. What a pretty color this is. I just really like it. Kind of smooths everything out. And it's kind of funny when you lay down these stamping blends, they kind of seem darker and wetter, and you just wait a minute, they dry and they look amazing. So I do want to get my color lifter and fix that little boo-boo I made up there. And right there. Okay. And let me do my leaves. Like, I don't really know why I thought to do them on wild wheat, but I somehow just like this whole color scheme. Like how it turned out. I haven't used wild wheat very much, I'm not going to lie, but I'm starting to use it more. It's a really pretty color. You just have to, I don't know, find a good color combination, and I think I did in this card. This is a home run. So this is the light wild wheat. And I am almost done. All I have to do now is the sentiment. And get the dark back and do the stems a little bit better. There we go. I just not, let me touch this up a little. I'm kind of a perfectionist, I'm not going to lie. So it probably does take me a little longer than some people to do their cards. But that's just how God made me, so just have to bear with me. All right, and so I'm not going to do the leaves. I'm just going to leave them like that because that's how I did on the front. And I mean, I could add some hashes and stuff, but I'm just going to leave it like that. I think we're good. All right, so all I really need to do now is add this sentiment and the ribbon. So for the ribbon, I chose to use the wild wheat ribbon. The half, what is it? I don't even know. I think it's a 1/4-inch ribbon. And the twine, I love this twine. I love twine. It's just really kind of fun. I already had a piece cut, so I'm just going to go ahead and use that. And I played around with a bow with this ribbon, and honestly, I just was having a hard time tying a bow. So I decided to try this look instead, and I thought it was pretty cute. So all you do is just take a piece of ribbon and get my scissors. Go ahead and cut this, and you just tie a bow around it. So I'm going to do a half knot first. Which is just wiggling around on me. I was thinking I should probably put a glue dot behind it to hold it down, but that looks good. That's going to hold. I think I'll just do a full knot and then I'll tie a bow because it's really not even on there. Sorry, you can't even see through my hands, but I am tying a double knot around this ribbon. There we go. So do you see that? And now I'm just going to do a bow. Just is really look at how curly that is. So we are just going to cut it since it's being curly. There we go. And what I did for this was I just cut it straight. And then I took my scissors and unraveled it a little. Because I thought it was kind of fun and different. Of course, you got to be careful that you don't unravel the whole thing when you do this, but that looks good. And I think I'm just going to cut it so I'm not there. Maybe I'll do a few more. It's a little bit shorter than what I wanted. I don't know why that's messing up. Let's see if this side can do better. Maybe it's better if I don't take so many at once. It's probably good that it's getting hung up on that one side because then it won't like all unravel. So I think if I just do that and maybe just cut it, it'll be fine. Okay. So I'm going to run this. You know what? Okay, this is kind of too long. So let me just trim it. Sorry, I'm being indecisive here, but it's just kind of too long. So I'm going to try it again. And give it one more. There we go. I'm just kind of pulling it down, and then I'm just going to trim that off. Hopefully I'm on the camera. All right. That's better. And I'm going to use a glue dot. If I can, there they are. Glue dot. To glue it down. And then the sentiment, I'm going to use a dimensional. So there we go. Dimensionals. You can pick it up. I'll use big ones for this. I've used a lot of dimensionals today because, like I said, I did those Creativity Now cards, which I'll do a later video on. Then this has like a little kind of a little cutout. And what I did was I kind of tucked it into the bow area, dear friend, and we are done. Isn't that a stunning card? It's definitely a step up card, but it's so pretty, and I'm really happy with how it turned out. Be sure and like my video, subscribe to my channel, leave me an encouraging comment. I'd really appreciate it, and have a good day.